Hey guys, Jared with HOA Crusaders again here. In this video, we are actually elaborating on something we referenced in one of our other videos. We did a video on 12 things to watch out for when you're buying a property in an HOA. And one of those things that we said to watch out for was the rules and regs. Are they reasonable? Are they clear? And is the enforcement of those rules and regulations consistent? So in this video, I just want to elaborate a little bit on that and tell you guys a funny story that happened to me, and hopefully it'll be beneficial to you in some way, shape, or form. So when you're purchasing an HOA, whether it's a housing development of some sort or a condo complex, make sure you read the CC and Rs. Those are the covenants, conditions, and restrictions. They include the declaration, the bylaws, the rules and regs, and the maintenance standard. Those are your big four that you're going to want to watch out for. Some associations don't have maintenance standards yet, but they should. If they don't have maintenance standards, again, that's probably a red flag. All associations should have maintenance standards at this point. When you read through those documents, are they clear and reasonable? The last thing you want to do is be fined for violating a rule or regulation that wasn't clear in the first place. This is also something that you can ask your neighbors. Things may look great on paper, but in practice, how are things handled? To that point, in some ways, an HOA that has strict rules and enforces them swiftly and equally aren't necessarily bad. If you put a high value on order and uniformity, and a lot of people, they're buying an HOAs because they want order and uniformity. They don't want the crazy neighbor down the street who hoards stuff in junk cars in his front yard or whatever the case is. There's a lot of interesting personalities out there, and an HOA kind of gives everybody a standard rule set to live by so we can all get along peacefully. Usually rules are in place to make the living experience for everyone equal and enjoyable and peaceable. So I'm going to give you guys a funny story and a quick example of when strict HOAs aren't necessarily bad. My family's from Puerto Rico and we own some condos down there while here. I'm currently filming in Puerto Rico right now. But anyways, for anyone that's familiar with life in Puerto Rico and or Puerto Ricans, we're kind of notorious for doing our own thing. If you've been here, you've seen it. Traffic laws are more like mild suggestions. The attitude towards rules in general is kind of like, that's fine for the other guy, but not applicable for me. My favorite is, who's really going to stop me from doing this thing I want to do? In other videos, I talk about just pace, timeliness. There's all these cultural things that are just different than what I'm used to where I currently live in Connecticut. The point is, naturally, you can see how culturally that attitude probably wouldn't jive well for an HOA or condo living. But there are a ton of condos down here. It's not that they don't have condos because of this. It's that the condo structure and the HOA rules are even more important to keep all that stuff in line. So a couple of days ago, I was doing a construction project on one of our condos down here. I had a small pile of cardboard boxes and construction materials piled up outside the door. The only people who could possibly see this was my neighbor across the hall and the two neighbors upstairs if they came down the stairs. Long story short, a few hours later, I get a call from the management company that I've got trash and 2 pairs of shoes outside my unit, and how that's a violation of the HOA rules. There can't be any personal property outside the front door. Now, I know this, right? And a lot of people might have taken offense to this and say, well, it was only out there for a couple hours, I'm in the middle of a project or something along those lines. However, me, who works with HOAs every day, I was actually happy to see that the management here runs a tight ship and keeps people accountable for doing what they're supposed to do, me included. Did I think I was justified in leaving my stuff out there? Sure, right? Like, I didn't think it was a big deal, but they did, and that's okay. That's good. It means they're doing their job. It showed me that an issue doesn't make it more than a few hours before someone is catching it and addressing it. Imagine if they allowed the precedent of people putting trash or personal belongings outside their condo door. A little bit of leeway combined with our Puerto Rican culture, and pretty soon things would be out of control and the whole place would look like a mess. So the point is, it's less about the rules themselves and more about clear and consistent enforcement of those rules. So when I got that call, I was actually at Home Depot and I said, no problem, I'll take care of it when I get back. And I did, and that's it. Everybody, their first reaction is to be offended when they get called out for something like that. The silver lining is that at least the management company is doing their job. And as long as they're doing it equally, it's not like you're being singled out. They're enforcing it equally across the board and the place looks nice and there's no trash outside. It's that way because someone's keeping people accountable. try to be appreciative of that fact. And, you know, a lot of things happen behind the scenes that we don't know about. Sometimes people say, well, why are you enforcing it with me, but not with this other person? And you don't know what's going on. The other person could be getting fined every day and have a $1,000 bill and be in collections. And all you see is their trash outside, but you don't see the court case or the legal battle that's ensuing because of that behavior. And your management company can't really disclose that to you either. So stay in your lane, and this applies for me too. Stay in my lane, do what I'm supposed to do, follow the rules, and everything's going to be okay. And ultimately, they're doing their job because at the end of the day, it creates a better living experience for me. Because when I go out in this complex, there's no trash anywhere. It's clean, it's safe, it looks good, it's well taken care of. And part of that is because the management company is strict about keeping people accountable to the rules and regulations, me included. All right, that's all I got. Thanks, guys, and we'll catch you next time. This is Jared, HOA Crusader, with some tips and tricks from the world of HOAs.